We heard from undisclosed person that the Council of Tinubu in the court has asked that all petitions against Tinubu be turned down because the man is now president and nothing can be done about this. Majority of the Nigerians are tired of living in Nigeria because of the state of the economy and how people are not getting enough to take care of their families. Youths, even you see infants, they are talking about how to travel abroad. Even without having experience, knowledge, and sometimes you question, who taught these kids? What do they know about living abroad? You see that hunger, difficulty will make a child to wake up early. Here are the reports making headlines today. The World Poverty Clock has reported that there are 71 million Nigerians living in extremely poverty, according to the 2023 data. Labour threatens strike, resumes talk with federal government. Ahead of the meeting between the federal government and the organized labour scheduled to hold Monday, the Nigeria Labour Congress has said the government must meet its demands to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. The union threatened it would not hesitate to call out workers for industrial action, adding that it only suspends its planned strike. It stated that the high cost of fuel was inflicting unbearable hardship on Nigerians, adding that the government must act fast with respect to providing palliatives, as the NLC said it was expecting to increase in the minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 150,000 naira. The issues right now in Nigeria, one is the effect of the subsidy removal. Palliatives haven't been seen since the removal, and the organized labor, they are pushing hard to make sure that palliatives come in and the FG to fulfill whatever promise they pledge. It is difficult with many families who are living in extremely poverty in Nigeria. The 2023 World Poverty Clock has indicated Nigeria has over 71 million people living in extreme poverty. Extreme poverty, you know what that word means. Difficult to even buy a cup of water to drink. So this is a big challenge for the now President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The organized labor have pushed forward with a threat of going to strike if they cannot see the palliatives, because you don't just remove a fuel subsidy without bringing or implementing things that will cushion the effect of it on the people. The mass number of people are complaining about the hike price. The price of fuel moved from 5% to 7.5% VAT. The fuel people bought at 188 naira in the past is now sold to about 580 naira, according to reports on different papers and the magazines. And the state of Nigeria today is not a good one for the world to look at the giant of Africa as having maybe over 71 million people living in extreme poverty. The environment of the places where people are living. And with that name, giant of Africa, most environment need to be taken care of. Keep it clean. Because when we look at those dungeon places from outside, the world will look at Nigeria and they say, is this truly the giant of Africa? When you talk about the basic need for humans, water is important, food and clothing. Shelter is important. Other things coming, those can be secondary or tertiary. But the basic need, water, food, clothing and shelter, people need this. Now these areas reported as poor, as unimaginable, have to be taken into the consideration. And what is the present administration going to do about this? We heard from undisclosed person that the Council of Tinubu in the court has asked that all petitions against Tinubu be turned down because the man is now president and nothing can be done about this. He will fix Nigeria. He will lead the people well. A good example is fuel subsidy removed. He removed it on the inaugural grant when he hasn't even entered into the office. This shows the enthusiasm of a man who is ready to work for Nigeria and they make sure that things are going on well again. But then, that has got a big impact on the people because palliatives haven't been seen. This is why the organized labor, the NLC, threatens this Monday that they are going to go to strike if something is not done. And they are looking at minimum wage to move from 30,000 naira to 150,000 naira. Even 150,000 naira is not enough if we look at the cost of things around the world. But let us have a look at how the World Poverty Clock reported Nigeria as being in extreme poverty. It's unfair and it's shameful thing because we are giant of Africa and we shouldn't be that poor, if you ask me, because of the many natural resources that we have there, which are sustaining many other neighboring African countries. Then what about Nigeria, where the natural resources are? Let us just go to what the World Poverty Clock reported about Nigeria. The World Poverty Clock has reported that there are 71 million extremely poor Nigerians, according to 2023 data. The World Poverty Clock is a tool used to track poverty progress worldwide. The Rivers State All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Tony Cole, quoted data showing that 71 million Nigerians are extremely poor, and the National Bureau of Statistics classifies 133 million people as multidimensionally poor. He spoke at the Nigeria Zero Hunger Symposium in Abuja, organized by the T200 Foundation to mark World Hunger Day, and unveiled Nigeria's hunger report. Cole also mentioned that more than 10,000 children and 25,000 people globally die every day due to hunger, according to the United Nations. He noted that Nigeria needs to develop a practical, sustainable, and easy to implement poverty eradication model and adhere to it over time. He said Nigeria has the awful distinction of being the world capital of poverty, with 71 million people living in extreme poverty today. World Poverty Clock 2023 reviewed this, and a total of 133 million people classed as multidimensionally poor, according to National Bureau of Statistics data. In other words, about 828 million people will wake up every day having no idea when or where their next meal will come from, and the many will go to the bed that day without eating anything. This is according to a 2021 UN report. The UN further states that of these 828 million people, 25,000 will die today, including more than 10,000 children. Nigeria must design a simple, implementable, and sustainable poverty eradication model and stick to it over time. He highlighted the contributing factors to hunger, stating that measures must be taken to address these issues. He said other factors that contribute to hunger, such as violence, weak government, and the healthcare systems, must be addressed promptly if zero hunger is to be achieved. These are real difficulties in Nigeria, and addressing them is critical not only for hunger eradication but also for the country's overall progress. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government is well positioned to push the goal of strengthening democratic institutions that will yield democratic dividends to Nigerian people. The T200 Foundation's report that Nigeria has a serious hunger problem with a global hunger index score of 27.9%. But there are significant variations in the score across states. The state with the highest hunger index score is Yobe, with a score of 44.2%. And the state with the second highest score is Sokoto, with a score of 42.1%. Other states with high scores include Zamfara, Kebbi, and Jigawa. These states have high rates of undernourishment and the child wasting. Executive Director of T200 Foundation, Ambassador Emmanuel Osadebi, stressed the need for collaboration among stakeholders to end hunger in Nigeria by 2030, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. The question here is, looking at this dynamic hunger, because it changes from one state to the other, How can Tinubu's administration take care of hunger, bring eradication to it, end hunger in Nigeria? This is the question by many people. This administration really need to wake up, and they wake up real time, wake up genuinely to the Nigerians, because the diasporans, Nigerians who are living in other countries all over the world, are watching to see how this administration will favor the Nigerian citizens who have cried out and they showed their interest in voting who they want to be their president. Nigerians are tired of living in Nigeria. Majority of the Nigerians are tired of living in Nigeria because of the state of the economy and how people are not getting enough to take care of their families. Youths, even you see infants, they are talking about how to travel abroad, even without having experience, knowledge, and sometimes you question, who taught these kids? What do they know about living abroad? You see that hunger, starvation, you see that condition. Difficulty will make a child to wake up early. What do you think about Nigeria with what the World Poverty Clock stated? Do you consider that to be truth? And what do you think is the way forward to help to eradicate poverty out of Nigeria, a country named the Giant of Africa, a country that provide and they moved to neighboring countries surrounding it, but then their citizens cry from day through day? Let us know in the comment section below, and I will come back to you in the next video. Meanwhile, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, on the bottom right corner of this video, click the subscribe button, either in black background or red, depending on the phone you are using, and turn on the bell icon on top of it, so that whenever we upload a new video, it will reach to you first before others. In the news, Anthony Q, Kibri's Got Talent.